Well, hello and welcome to our Subconscious Speaks. My name's Don Robert, and together with my amazing, talented, award-winning bestie,
Tina Orlando.
and together we are,
Tina Orlando.
and Don. It just doesn't get old. Like it just brings a smile to our face. Hopefully, it
Mm.
brings a smile to your face. I every time I know I'm going to do that, and it just kind of naturally flows right out of me. I smile. I know you smile. And so, in the
It's
spirit of
funny.
today's conversation about trauma,
Mhm.
smiling is good. It's good to have now authentic smiles, right?
Mhm.
Let's.
Okay. Mhm.
There
Mhm.
she is, ladies and gentlemen. The queen of clarity. There she is. uh yeah, this is genuine joy because I don't get to see Tina at school anymore. So it's,
Mm.
and unless her son's performing or we're doing so we're going to a concert or something, I don't get to see her enough.
I know. I
And you're not
know.
that far away, but
But it is traffic hour every hour of the day.
yeah, yeah.
It's all right. Oh, but we see each other here,
Adorable
so
today. For those of you that
we
don't
can.
watch us on YouTube, Tina just looks so adorable today. And
Thank you.
because she is adorable,
Sometimes
feeling a little award-winning today, are you?
a little punchy today, or
Yeah.
whatever.
What's going on?
Not so much, just work. And I sat in the sun for like 30 minutes today. And I think that's what it is. I just kind of was
Ah,
like, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the sunshine and, my plants and stuff. So,
yeah.
but yeah, outside is good.
I've been trying to get out into the sun like every hour, just like get up and walk around first of all, because I'm like the king of sitting,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's good to move the body.
Hmm.
As you know. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm lucky enough that I have a nice backyard that's right next to my office. I can walk out and
Hmm.
just bask in the
Hmm.
sunlight and see the water and the pool. I mean, it looks magical. It's
I mean, you
freezing
should go out
cold.
there. It's
The
freezing
water's
cold.
freezing cold, but
Mm.
it looks picturesque
That's wonderful, though.
and calming and soothing. It's literally like an imagery that is comes to life.
Hmm. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I just,
I know you
yeah,
do.
I
Yeah.
understand it. I love it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. How are you?
Uh, you know, it was interesting. I've just been kind of just following my intuitive voice, listening to my inner guide. I've been doing a lot of law of attraction, meditation, and manifestation exercises that seem to be working. Imagine
Hmm.
that.
Who knew?
I
Who
know.
knew?
I know. What is that all about? Yeah. It
Who
was
knew? It
it was
actually
just
works.
like as wild as March was and this year has been. I'm like I'm off to a really good year, all things considered, you know.
Hmm.
Uh the fires, the
The stuff.
travel, the getting sick,
Hmm.
it just
Hmm.
seems that and just the electricity going in and out for a week
Hmm.
was like torture. That
Yeah.
really took it out of me and but I was resilient and I bounced back and because I had created my own positive patterns,
Hmm.
positive loops, it
Hmm.
didn't go away just because I was displaced, right? I just continued on. It's shifted and changed since, I started doing it at the beginning of the year, and I had a really incredible March.
March went fast.
March was busy.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
all going very fast. Somebody has turned up the time. Um, they seem to be racing by.
It's really it's such an interesting thing to even talk about this idea of time, right? Because when we're kids, everything takes forever.
Hmm.
Ugh. When you're
That's
waiting for Carvel ice cream to open, because you get there right before whatever the open. I'm just using a silly example, but like sitting in the car because we had nothing to distract
right.
us.
right. You had to
Zero.
be in the moment.
You had to talk to each other or your parents.
Yeah. Yeah. It slows time down when you disconnect
Yeah,
from social media and the amount of input that you're taking in. Um, yeah. So that's, I mean, that's why time feels like it has sped up because the amount of entertainment, the amount of distraction, the amount of occupying your brain. I mean, like back in the day, it was, when we were kids, you would hear it come on the TV back to your regular scheduled programming.
literally.
Literally, literally told
They
us
did
what
not
they were doing.
hide.
They were not hiding anything. And then now it's, you're the
NBC
algorithm.
it.
Yeah,
NBC it. Like
yeah.
visualize or
Um,
imagine your life trapped in a box,
yeah,
watching Friends and
yeah.
off The Office.
Well, yeah. And then, I mean, even before that, like
Yeah.
the amount
One
the
Adam
amount of
12 and Emergency
stimulation was
51. Yeah.
regulated though. It
Huh?
was really the amount of stimulation was regulated.
Do you think it was regulated, or was it just not like the platform wasn't enough that you could just flood people with it? Because there was one TV usually, right? Our childhood,
Hmm.
there was one
Hmm.
TV.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
my parents had a TV in their bedroom, but there was one TV in the living room, and that was like, and it was you had to crawl on your hands and knees up to go change the channel. That's yeah. Tell me how old you are without telling me how old you are.
I used to walk to change the
But
channel.
but the point is that there was only one vessel of programming
Yeah,
available, and it was limited in that there was only like seven channels, really, until
true.
like people started putting antennas on top of their chimneys and all sorts of craziness to try and get more programming.
Right, to get more programming.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think that the amount of stimulation that we take in on a daily basis, it overloads everybody. And that is what makes time go so much faster.
I absolutely agree. It's a very
You want
astute.
time to slow down, plan for something, 3 to 6 months away, and then it'll creep a little slower because you'll be anticipating something great coming.
I thought you were going to say plan something like a hike and leave your phone at home.
Oh, that'd be great too. That's a great idea. But nobody's going to do that because they're afraid they're going to get lost.
Well, I'm not
Walk around the
saying like
block without your phone. Start there.
uh, get lost without your phone on
No,
purpose.
walk, no, walk around your block without your
Yes.
phone.
Yeah. It's
Hmm.
tricky though, because people listen to music when they walk, or a lot of people listen to podcasts when they walk.
Hmm. Like this one.
So, kind of like,
Well, that's kind of how it's built, though, right? Like
it
it's
is.
to be
We're sliding
all
right into the algorithm of life.
absolutely, and
We're the positive programming though.
whether you're clicking or not, when you got the phone in your hand, it is listening. Like, just say something weird, and then it's going to come up on your Google search or your I can't even believe I'm going to say it, Yahoo page or like on Instagram. I know, right?
Or your
There you go.
AOL. I was
There
talking to
you go.
somebody the other day. We were laughing about, I had a new client give me their email and it was an AOL. And I'm like, and they're like 24. And I'm like, how do you even know about AOL? And then we were joking about AIM. Do you remember AIM?
Yes,
Which is their AOL chat.
instant messenger.
And this is when
What
I
was the
plugged my
other
computer
one?
into a
Yeah.
phone jack
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
and it made those
Oh yeah.
horrible noises trying to connect.
I mean, that's an iconic sound though. Like if
It
you heard that
is
sound right now, you would know exactly what's happening.
100%.
There's two entire generations that would not know what that sound means,
Yeah.
by the way. At least two generations.
Yeah.
But I digress. Um, I mean, everything is meant to entertain you and keep you engaged
Mm,
in the programming,
the loop.
the loop,
Yeah.
which causes negative side effects, really.
Huh. Really? You don't
Yeah,
say.
I don't say. Who knew?
Let's start with
Um,
what's at the top of your list on those negative side effects.
Um, Desensitized to trauma,
Mm,
desensitized to events. And if you look at people um, that play a lot of video games,
hmm
like Call of Duty or the MMA games and or the sports games, there's really not a reason to keep re-releasing them, but yet they do it with these little tiny minor upgrades.
Uh-huh.
And it's to keep you engaged. So they breadcrumb you to keep you coming back and keeping you
Yes.
engaged.
The
But the
breadcrumbing.
downs the breadcrumbing. But the downside of that is, when you're playing Call of Duty, like I would bet that some of those younger people that play Call of Duty, um, whether they've seen a gun or not, I'll bet they can assemble it because of what they played on Call of Duty. And if you from thinking
They know
about
a
it from
lot
that,
about all sorts of weapons because of that game. I
right,
had that game. I
right.
think there's the latest, not the latest, because I haven't been playing video games in like at least 4 years now. Yeah. Not since Juliet went away to college. Like there's nobody to
Mhm.
play with.
Right. But, I mean, those kids that really, the people that really play those games, I think that their reactions to trauma or trauma events
Hmm.
is different than to the generation that didn't play video games like that. Like they see somebody die at like the age of 8, 10, like a brutal death. Think about that. Just, I mean, I know it's kind of a weird thing, but that's a traumatic event
In the
because
game.
we're in the game
Yeah. GTA
or,
comes to mind as well. I think we've talked
or,
about, uh,
mhm,
yeah,
yeah,
Grand Theft
or,
Auto for those of you that don't know what GTA stands for. There you go.
um, or maybe they've seen porn between the ages of 8 and 10, or they're watching weird beheadings from ISIS between the ages of like 8 and 10 on the internet, right? So
Yeah.
now they're completely desensitized. These are traumatic events
hmm
that under the theory of your subconscious does not know the difference between fantasy and reality.
Right.
They're now experiencing this, but the side of that that changes is when you're experiencing that, you're supposed to have grief, you're supposed to have loss, you're supposed to have feelings about it, and they don't. They just move on to the next
No,
thing
they're
in the
dissociated
game.
from it.
Right. So there's no process of feeling. So then it gets stored as an event that they saw, which
Right.
then becomes triggered
Yeah.
trauma later on in their life.
Yeah.
And then they walk around as, somewhere between the ages of 14 and 25 going, I have so much anxiety. I have trauma. I'm triggered, say whatever buzzword it
hmm
is.
Yeah.
And when they go and review their life, they may not have those big events where it doesn't make sense. And they're walking around going, I don't understand why I have so much anxiety
Mm.
or why I have so much trauma, feelings of trauma.
Feelings of trauma, right? Like the emotions are
Stuck.
trapped. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, hmm.
They're trapped.
Trapped in the body, just waiting to be triggered again.
Mm-hmm. Just waiting. And when they see those events, then, or somebody says something, um, and they have those events, those are the thing about it is that like when you have a traumatic memory, that's created in a heightened emotional experience, right?
Right.
And that inner event is now stuck. It doesn't matter how many times you go back and you review it or you think about the story, it's going to affect you later on.
hmm
And I think that's what we're seeing now is that because there was no processing to those events that they visually witnessed in video games and TV and movies and everything that they're doing
Yeah.
is now that this is why we have entire generations with so much anxiety and trauma responses to things. They don't even know how to negotiate it out.
Because it's unresolved. It just is.
It's not even acknowledged because
Yeah.
they just moved on to the next action in the
Yeah.
video
So it's
game.
almost like they're storing in this reservoir of fight or flight or freeze
Mm-hmm.
where there it goes.
Yep, there it
And you're
is.
wondering why little Sally or little Bobby is acting that way as the parent. Like, what the hell?
Right, right. It's because they have all this trauma. Yeah, I mean, as a parent, I guess we're all guilty of kids playing video games, and maybe we didn't know what it was doing as people, but I don't know if the government, they kind of know. But
Kinda.
they know what they're doing. They've been doing it since before Kennedy was president. So,
Mm, mm.
um, don't come for me. Those are released facts. Like, do your homework.
Yeah.
But you know that those loops that a lot of people are living in, that's the
Mhm.
trauma. So
Yeah.
you gotta fix it.
What do you think allows people to even come to the first stage, which is to acknowledge that they have it? Because fixing it comes after, and we've talked about
Big time.
this like, I don't know, 15 episodes ago or so, like this idea of inventorying, right? I'm just
Mm-hmm.
still so impressed that you used my language from 12 step, right? Which is taking an account of who you are and how you show up and in
Mm-hmm.
all areas of your life to kind of look at the life script that's been
Mm-hmm.
created. Um, so other than like, going to a 12-step program and taking an inventory, what do you think about how does this come about? Um, this
Well,
this this knowing or the uncovering of I need help.
when you're walking around in hypervigilant, hyperarousal, fight or flight, when you're constantly startled by the littlest thing, like everybody has something that they say, oh, that's my PTSD, or they have an overreaction to something because that's been programmed into their mind, their subconscious, their behavior.
Right.
But when it becomes every day that they're feeling anxious, when they're feeling constantly like, their skin is crawling or they're restless, like all these things are signs from your body that um, they're signs of trauma. Sorry. Um,
And it
you
shows
know,
up in a lot of different ways, right? Like that physical tension, a pain in your neck, like it manifests physically and almost
absolutely.
it's almost like it's hiding in plain sight.
There is a physical response to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, with women, it's a lot of like digestive. There's a lot of interesting things that women tend to do. They have a lot of muscle issues,
Hmm.
digestive issues, skin issues. They go for the headache, like the migraine. Like, and I'm not saying all migraines are caused from trauma, but
Yeah.
these are common things um, that are signs of trauma and stress. Chronic stress is another one. Somatic symptoms: headache, muscle pain, fatigue. Fatigue is a big one. um, yeah. Um, weakened immune system. There's so many signs. Like,
High
the list is long.
cortisol.
High cortisol, yes.
That seems to
um,
be a big one, at least from the different what's the word? The algorithm likes
mhm.
to show me this whole cortisol thing and you're talking about women. Men tend to, have the elongated belly. That's where they
Mhm.
store that high cortisol.
Well,
Well, that's
cortisol
where
is
it's trapped
stored
at
in your gut.
least.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because cortisol stores in your gut. and it starts in your brain, runs through your body, right? And it's anger. Anger while working out is really not that great.
Don't don't tell don't tell the juicers. Yeah. But
It's
there's
not that
there's a
good.
level
It's
of
more cortisol.
intensity and of engagement. But I played competitive sports and worked out and there's
Hmm.
something about getting a good pump that
Hmm.
yeah. But you're the
But
physio expert here, spin doctor.
yes, but yeah, when it's really not that great to work out anger,
Oh, to work out anger or work out with anger? Let's
work out
delineate.
with anger.
Okay.
Um, yeah, you don't want that cortisol pumping like that. That's not because there's going to be too much cortisol.
Mm,
And it then becomes this dopamine norepinephrine kick where you're looking now for that dopamine hit, which is great. However, when that stops and you stop working out,
yeah.
you're then going to fatigue in a way that you're going to think that you're uber lazy because you've already burnt out so much of it. Like
Mm.
you're addicted to the dopamine high.
Just
um
another example of why people feel burnt out so much now.
yes,
Yeah.
is yeah, because they're running on drama constantly. Everything you see, there is a dramatic effect. Everything.
So
Because
you get
everything else.
these trauma bonds that are created,
Hmm.
and then they just kind of they're just there,
Yeah,
waiting to be activated.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's your true sense of the word triggered. I mean, that's these are little baby traumas that are triggering you to do something.
Mm. I think we talked about this, the bad picker, right?
Yes.
There was somebody that asked us to talk about, why do I have such a bad picker? Yeah.
I have thoughts.
Huh?
I said I have thoughts.
You have
I,
thoughts? Share
I
them.
have I have a interesting thought. So I think that, in my opinion, that if we are following the Kaplan emotional physical theory, and we
Hmm.
are all like our fathers, and that we are all finding our mothers, and we expect to be treated like we see our fathers treat our mothers, and vice versa, whatever. I think that we're all looking for our mothers. So if we're looking for our mothers, then we have to heal the mother wound first. Or you're going to find the part of your mom that doesn't really work well because we're all human. But you're going to find all her flaws in somebody if you don't heal the wound.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
That's my theory.
No, because I'm like literally catapulting back to some very deep and emotional work I did around this topic when I was living in Seattle, and
Hmm.
and I had a moment where I was struck with clarity that
Hmm.
that clarity in itself was freeing, right? Because that was the acknowledgement of, oh, that's why. Oh, holy moly. Like it was just like, and I was by myself and I was writing another inventory and
Hmm.
I was looking at the same old list, right? So one of the parts of an inventory in a 12-step program is, you're looking at all your resentments.
Yeah.
And there was a typical kind of hierarchy of people on the list. Um,
Hmm.
and the power of prayer came to me. I prayed for new information, new ways of seeing the same old, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
And it was, boy, I seem to share a lot about me in these podcasts. How do you get away with this?
Ah,
Uh,
mm,
I'll just say it without emotion because I don't have emotion tied to it anymore because I've released it. But
mhm,
it was typically dad hit me and mom let him.
yeah.
And I had this moment where I was able to go beyond the surface of that.
Hmm.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks why I had trouble trusting women because I couldn't even trust my mom to protect me.
Your primary caregiver who gives you life,
Yeah. And it
right?
wasn't like, I was under attack and my mom didn't stand in between me and an abusive father. It was just your basic, 1970s spanking
Spankings.
the belt,
Yeah.
right? I just got it a
Hmm.
lot because I was a very busy kid trying to get
Hmm.
attention because my brother and sister were 2 and 3 years
Infants,
younger than me. So little Donnie, like
right?
literally
You
my
were,
first
yeah.
babysitter was a TV. They'd plop me down. I still remember the carpet. It was this oval carpet and it was like I would treat it like with I loved matchboxes and I would like race my matchboxes around this oval track of the carpet, but it was like
Hmm.
literally within crawling distance to be able to change the channel, even though there was only 6 or 7 channels I could choose from.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that was my first babysitter. They plopped me down because my mom was busy with my brother and sister who were in diapers. Yeah.
Right, right. So the theory that you have to heal that wound. And it doesn't mean your mother was a bad mother, right?
No,
It
she
just
was a great
just
mom.
it
Yeah.
right. And nobody's getting out woundless. Like, stop with that shit. Like, everybody has wounds. We're not getting out woundless.
Oh,
Like,
oh, okay, okay. For anybody that's like putting their hand up going, I'm woundless.
no, you're not.
No,
No, you're not.
you're in denial is what you are.
We
Yeah.
all have wounds, right? Like, and some wounds are not all wounds are deliberate, like from your parents. You have to remember, parents are doing the best that they can, generally speaking. I'm not talking about villains and that kind of thing, but
Mhm.
generally, parents are just trying to do the best they can. They don't. It doesn't come with a rule book, and it doesn't come with a how-to book. But you know, even the best families, the best parents, somebody's still going to have a wound. There's going to be one thing that stands out that your mother didn't do. Um, So, you have to heal that wound
Yeah.
before you can then, move on basically and find the healthier side. Otherwise, we're just going to look for the negative of our parents.
Yeah. Um, so I've incorporated this into my talk track when I talk to clients, especially when they're coming at me with the cavalcade of presenting issues. That seems to be the norm lately.
Oh, no, that's the norm.
Other than like smokers, but even the smokers, when I start
Yeah,
talking to
that's right.
them about their lives and how they show up
Mhm.
and their relationships, like they come for just that freedom from the addiction, but there's so much more going on. And I think I've said this before here, and I'm sure you agree that I believe that most of us, and according to you, all of us could benefit from inner child work.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's
because
nobody
that's
that
where it
escapes.
is. I
Yeah,
think
there's
that
nobody
came
that
up during
escapes it.
the broken picker conversation, if I remember.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, nobody escapes inner child work. Even if you do have a great life, like, you still have shit. We all do.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. That's stupid.
And
It's
it's
dumb.
okay. It's okay. Why there's any sort of I would like to think that the stigmatism of like, oh, he's in therapy, like is gone at this point.
Well, yeah. The fact that the ratio of men to women in therapy is still, women is up
It's way
here and men are,
lopsided. Yeah.
it is, and more men need therapy. It doesn't mean anything other than you're actually taking, care of yourself mentally. um, this stigma, that is just, it's ridiculous at this point. I mean, haven't we evolved past that?
You'd like to think so. I
Mm,
talk to Americans all over our country, and that is not the case.
that is,
Occasionally, I'd like to think that I'm a vessel for men to feel safe to express
mm,
how they actually feel, but
mhm.
it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
The
I
younger
mean,
generation, not so much.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the 23 to like 30-ish, they're different.
well,
They're a
yeah,
different generation. They've been raised differently. They have more information. I mean, they literally have a supercomputer right here,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
can
No,
look
they'll
up
go to
anything, and they
therapy.
have.
Yeah, they'll go to therapy. But
Yeah.
if they're over like 40, there's a weird like stigma there. It's just weird. Like they, for some reason, don't think that they need it.
Well, there's this other thing that it's attached to that that you've somehow sort of failed in life. That if you need therapy,
Yeah, it's very strange to me. Like everyone needs, even if it's just somebody to talk to, a sounding
yeah,
board that doesn't have a side. Go get yourself some therapy,
yeah,
man. Go work that shit out. Like do it for you, but it'll help everybody around you.
boy, does it. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
changes the lives of everybody around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because trauma is a thing. We all have it. You know.
All right. So, anything else we want to talk about as far as trauma goes? I feel like we've used specific broad strokes enough that
Mhm.
that maybe some listeners are like, are they going to talk about how to get out of it? Like, how do I? Okay, so he mentioned inner child work. What the hell's that mean?
Um, Inner
Do we want to
child.
talk about solution yet?
Yes, we could talk about solutions. I am all for it.
Me too.
Um,
All right,
yeah.
what's your I mean, I know we're both certified in everything. I think is there anything that you I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Like, I was going to ask you if there's anything you're certified in that I'm not, but I can think of only one thing, and that's PLR, I think. Did you take the certification for that?
Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
I held off because I was going to do it in person, when the world reset and went back to normal.
Mhm.
Yeah, that never happened because HMI found
Mhm.
out that they could explode and serve
Right.
so many more people than their little microcosm of like, oh, you're more than 30 miles from LA. Ooh, that's going to be
Mm.
tough. You
Too
might want to
tough.
move or, so that's, yeah.
Um, yeah, past life and Reiki are the only two I think that I hold that you don't.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Although I did get in touch with my abilities as an energy worker in Kat's intuitive
Hmm.
development class. And I did that on Zoom and I was blown away. You were in that room with me. Sorry, I was having my own experience. I wasn't worried about your little placard in the corner leaning in.
We were there. I was
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
I
but
just
other than
consider you always there for everything I did.
that, probably.
Pretty much, pretty much. The only thing that we didn't do together was 101. You were in a different
Yes,
101 class. You were not
yes.
my core 101 group that kind of went through the different modalities. So
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
it. That's about it. I
those
caught
are the
up
only
to you
ones.
though.
You did. You caught up to me. You did. But yes, so modalities you could use for trauma.
Yeah, let's talk
Um,
about methods and there's a plethora to choose
hmm.
from in and
Hmm.
out of hypnotherapy.
Hmm.
There's tools in traditional therapy that can be helpful. I don't are we kind of we don't want to call out that whole industry, but like I don't know. Like
There's somatic healing that, somatic
yeah.
healing if you have trauma like trapped in your body.
Hmm.
Um, there's um I mean, there's CBT, of course, and there's, DBT, which is, dialect
Yeah.
cognitive behavioral therapy, whatever. Um, there's
And
alternative
then
therapies.
traditional, if we're talking traditionals now, right? Like there's
Well, I mean,
EMDR. EMDR is
yes.
supposed to be pretty
Hmm.
decent as far as releasing old events.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes.
And then there's a new
Um,
one that's kind of hypno geared IEMT, integral eye movement therapy, which is similar
mhm.
to EDM.
EDM.
EDMR, EDM.
That's how we get rid of it.
That is a trance. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
absolutely. It's
that.
named trance, uh,
My relapse was pretty intense, but I have to say, I'm grateful that I got to experience that whole rave scene,
mm.
not sober, during my relapse, and it was only a
Okay.
4 month relapse.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry,
It's
brain just
okay.
went off into another
I
land.
get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Hmm. I
Uh,
understand.
yeah.
There's energetic, there's somatic,
Right.
there's cognitive, CBT, DBT, there's positive psychology, there's EMDR, I almost said MDMA, rave on the brain. Um, and then, in more line with what we do, there's the inner child, there's release techniques, there's law of attraction, there's NLP, there's MER, which you're well versed in. So
Yeah.
tell us all
Uh,
about it.
MER is it's an interesting modality. It was part of our education with Joe Tabanella and the NLP program at HMI. And MER stands for mental and emotional release.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty trippy. You have to, my experience of using it with clients is it's got to be somebody that you've built enough rapport with that trusts
Mm-hmm.
you to go through the process because you're
Right.
literally going to be, this is where you're it feels as though you're stepping out of the corral of hypnosis into the woo woo, right? Like, okay, I want you to float up and above your timeline. Like, what? But when you do it and when I've done it and I'm patient and I guide people that trust me in those moments,
Right.
right? That's the super big part of it is the trust. Um,
Rapport.
and then you have to just kind of take your time with eliciting their timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Is it in front of
Mm-hmm.
them? Like where's tomorrow? Where's yesterday? Left, right, center, or back, forth, front and back, side to side. Yeah,
I had the wonderful pleasure of doing NLP in person, um, which
I
was a
did not.
completely, I know, and we've talked
Oh,
about
you
this.
weren't
It
in
was,
my NLP class. What were you?
I was not. I
No.
was not.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
no.
in the NLP class before that in
Yes,
person. And that's a completely different Joe Tabanella experience because he is
in person.
in person, like he is larger than life in person because he's like right up in your face, like, thunderstruck. And he does, he's amazing. Like,
Yeah,
but having gone through that and doing all of those little modalities within the NLP. It's fascinating how those anchors actually stick. I mean, we're talking 5 years ago, and I could put myself right back in there
yeah,
in that moment of thunderstruck, and that's the anchor was the song, right? So for people that don't know, the
yeah.
anchor thunderstruck was the song he was playing, and I can literally just step right back into that blue circle. Mr. Tabanella, at any point you can come and say hi to us. But yeah, because it's that anchor sticks and it's so effective.
I just feel the need to pull up Thunderstruck for some reason and play it.
It's a
You've
thing.
said it so many times, and then Lee at school taught me a new way to play music. because I've been trying to play music behind the scenes in sessions, and it's been clunky at best. So let's see.
Okay.
Let's see how this works. See if you can
You're
hear.
going to take the opportunity of this podcast, all our curated work. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go for it. Hear it.
Can you
There
hear
it
that?
is. It's thunderstruck. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all you need right there.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And he
Just the
just kept
guitar
playing it.
riff.
And I'm like, oh my God. But literally, I mean, as you play it, I can go right back into those feelings, those emotions. All of my senses are,
Yeah,
heightened into that moment. That is a true anchor. Like, so NLP, law of attraction, MER, those are absolutely beneficial to
100%.
trauma release.
Yeah.
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 So,
All right, Tina, I let you get away with it all the time, but you're not getting away with it today. What have you, let's talk personal usage. You don't have to get into the details
okay.
of maybe something of some trauma of your own that you worked on that you release, but can you visualize, imagine, or picture in your mind's eye and then share with us something that you were able to release and what was effective for you?
Um, Let me get away with it. What are you talking about? I share all the time because of you.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Yes.
Okay.
Like a big brother picking on you, I pull it out of you. Yeah. I pin you down and pull it out of you.
um,
Right, Fran? My sister.
I know. Um, that is being that we just played Thunderstruck. That was that was the moment I was stepping into my future self
Mm,
where I was I was good enough, I was smart enough, I was um
yeah.
capable of doing what needs to be done to be successful. That so Thunderstruck, that's absolutely what that brings up for me is it's those that moment. So, I mean, was it direct Joe Tabanella? Like, was it one on one? No, this was in a group session on top of that. Like, there was 40 of us, and that's
This was during the NLP, one of
yeah,
the 7 weekends.
yes, yes,
Wow. Or eight,
and
however many there are.
yeah, and it was just like, oh,
Huh.
okay, you know, so that was a huge moment for me. It was Thunderstruck. Like, yes, I can do it.
Mm,
Um, because I had all these reservations about being able to do it. Am I smart enough? Am I good enough? You know, those are things that I think everybody kind of struggles with.
yeah.
But, I mean, you're asking, so
Yeah.
but that was the moment. And that's why it's always, such a near and dear thing to me when I hear Thunderstruck, because that's what I
Yeah.
think of.
So were you somebody that volunteered and because Joe will have people that he'll show the exercise with. Oh God,
Mhm.
no, she's saying if you
No.
can't see her face right now, she just like pulled back big time, like, oh no, that is not happening.
Yeah, no, no, I start getting warm.
Yeah.
No. Blood pressure goes up.
What
No,
about
no,
in
this was,
Cheryl, any of Cheryl's imageries? Were you ever the
oh yeah.
I hate to say test subject, but you know, she when she would
Yes.
demonstrate a technique, she would have a
Yes.
student be the client.
Yes, but I cannot remember what the topic was.
All right, fair
I
enough.
can remember what it had to do with the red thread. And this is one of the ones that she riffs. She doesn't have it written down. I
Okay, well,
begged
that's
for
not
it.
fair. If you can't, I can't
Um,
go search the red thread in my
yeah,
computer and find
no,
it.
you can't. But it was about carrying around the past. And
Yeah,
I worked a lot with Cheryl about that, carrying around the
right.
past wrongdoings and stuff, trauma, sadness, grief, loss, um, where I could put the bag
Yeah.
down. Um, And I remember she did it with city streets, and you're just running through the streets away from all the stuff that you don't need to carry with you anymore. Um,
Yeah.
so,
All
and we
right.
all have stuff, like I said. So
We sure do. Uh, I and so do I understand you correct? Well, let me ask instead of surmise or guess. Have you only and always been with Cheryl as your mentor?
I have had sessions with Kat that were
No, no,
intuitive
sessions with
sessions.
is not the same, but you
Cheryl
know.
is my mentor, yes.
Yeah, okay. But you've had sessions with Kat. Okay.
Uh-huh. And I've
Uh,
had sessions outside of HMI with Ava.
that's what led you to HMI, if I
Yes,
remember correctly, right?
yes, yes, yeah. But she was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, hmm
And are
hmm
we still in touch with her?
I haven't spoken to her in a year or so.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's not
but
too
yeah,
long.
no, no. I
Because, time
sent an
going
email.
so fast, it could feel like last week.
Yeah, it might be a little over a year now that I'm thinking about it. So
Okay.
I'll have to reach out to her.
All right.
Mhm.
Joe was my first mentor.
I've had
And
sessions
so
with Joe too, by the way.
that's what I was getting to.
Yes,
And I was
yes,
wondering if you've done, because when I was talking to you about the release technique, before we started recording today, you immediately knew of that process. Did you do that
yes,
with Joe?
yes, yes,
You did.
yes, yes.
I
So
I
he
did
did.
that with him as well, and it was
Mhm.
very impactful. I can still remember the experience and the
Yes,
freedom that I felt through that process.
yeah,
And it's such
absolutely.
a super simple process.
Yeah, it
But
is.
it's powerful. What'd you
Joe,
release?
anxiety,
Okay. All right.
like shaking anxiety,
Mm,
physically, like just rattled with angst, and it definitely helps.
yeah.
Um, but when you got a lot of trauma, it's probably going to be more than one session.
Yeah. And I know we were talking about, like, I was dealing with how I felt about being divorced, right? That I failed, and that's when he laid that what's this word failure? There's no failure. There's only
It's only
feedback.
feedback.
Yeah. But that's not his. That's an NLP thing. That I give him credit for sharing it with me, but
Right.
yeah.
Feedback.
And I still remember, my cave opening
Mm-hmm.
and bats flying out of, and
Mm-hmm.
so I was curious, so part of this for people that don't know, right, that you're in a, were you fully hypnotized in a light hip stage? Were you like hypnoidal stage, kind of light? Do you
Yeah,
remember
kind of light.
some sort
Kind of
of
light.
eye
It was light.
fascination induction or something?
Yes. Yes, it was super light. It was super light,
Yeah,
but then you drop in way deeper than you expect.
right. Because it's Joe.
So, because it's Joe.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Joe. It's
yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
and then so where did you part of that exercise, as you know, is visualizing or imagining or picturing where you're feeling it, right? Whether
right, in the
it's
body.
where's the tightness in your body, chest, throat, or stomach. Where was
Hmm.
yours?
Throat. Throat
Throat.
and top of the
Interesting.
throat and the
Huh.
chest and top of the throat. Top of the chest and throat.
Mine
Yeah.
was right here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right in
it
the
was like
chest.
pressure.
Right in the middle, right in the heart centered kind of.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I the bats in the cave. I mean,
Yeah,
Joe,
so feel free, explain what the hell we're talking about, because people are probably wondering, what are they, bats in a cave? What are they talking
well,
about?
I mean, that's just a metaphor to release what you're holding on to. And the bats are the metaphor of the stuff, right? And the
Right.
bats fly
The
out,
energy that you're
the
releasing.
energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. In your cave, in the cave is actually, where you are. That's the best metaphor I can,
The
explain.
storage area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's dark, and, bats are dark.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so interesting to me how powerful this is. And you said it earlier, right? Because The subconscious, our imagination does not know the difference between fancied or real,
Right.
or imagined or actual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even memories get a little mixed up in fantasy as well, right? We don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. I've experienced this with, the retelling of experiences that my sister was having with me, but she had a different experience, right? So it's also very much to the user, the end user,
Right.
me, right? Like my
It's
experience,
perspective.
we could
Mm-hmm.
be having the same exact visual stimulations or auditory or whatever, right? We could be both in the same scenario and have completely different experiences from as we learned in NLP, which by the way, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what that acronym stands for, it's neuro linguistic programming. Just to clarify for our listeners, like they keep saying NLP. What the hell is that? I got to go Google that. There you go.
Yep.
Uh,
You didn't need to Google it. We'll tell you what it is.
yeah. Um, Lost my train of thought. Dang it.
TikTok.
TikTok.
Perspective of your experience.
Oh, IR, internal representation. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's not specific to the event. It's my opinion. It's
Mm-hmm.
whatever the event is that you and I are witnessing at the same time has different meaning because of our historical experiences within and around that. Like we both went to see a concert together
Mm-hmm.
and we had similar experiences in the moments, but we also
Mm-hmm.
had our own unique, right? Because you have a different perspective being five what? Five
Two,
five
maybe.
two? I was going to give you
I do.
5'4",
Well,
but
with my shoes on, and I
but
had
that's a
on
different
heels.
experience than a 6 foot man that's
It's
about six
true.
one with sneakers. Like
It's true.
just
It's true.
literal experience is different because
Mhm.
I'm up here like, you know, like last night I was at a show and I'm a concert goer, so I know how to position
Mhm.
myself so that there's nobody
Mhm.
taller in front of me.
Lucky you.
It, I I
Doesn't work.
I have a warm spot in my heart for the little people. I try
Thanks.
not to stand right in front of a
Mm,
smaller person because it's
right.
rude. I
It's
don't want
yeah.
that 6'5" guy in front of me. What are you
Right.
ruining my
Right.
concert for, dude?
It's true.
Kind of
It's
like people
true.
that speed up to get into the fast lane and then slow down.
Slow down. It's like, if I'm looking at concert tickets, I'm not going to sit in the back. Like I have to pay extra.
Yeah, not New
I
Kids on the
won't see
Block
nothing.
extra. That's a lot.
That's that's a lot. Those blockheads are crazy.
Those
They they
blockheads.
will
Yeah,
they will pour
they
out
will
some
pay.
cash. They
Yeah,
will. Those are
they
some,
will. I will
you know.
not be
it
shelling out
is
5 grand to go on a cruise with the kids.
it is such a great time.
I bet it is. I bet
It
it
really
is.
is.
Tina,
Um,
just side note, Tina sent me a video. We were talking about going to the Sphere someday and New Kids on the Block, which is like, her favorite boy band.
Backstreet Boys are there currently, but the new kids have a residency in Vegas at the
Oh, they're
same
at the
time.
MGM. I was
Yes.
mixing up the two.
Yes.
Silly me, right? Like them and NSYNC, they're all the
Mhm.
same band, let's be honest,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Different
Yeah.
looks, different tiny bit of different sound, but really
Yeah. I mean, they fit the boy band mold.
boy band soup. Yeah.
hmm hmm
Yeah.
They're good. It's good fun,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
it's an um expensive show.
It's an experience.
It is an experience. It's a very positive experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm It is. So
Yeah.
I
Uh,
digress.
you digress.
I digress.
All
We
right.
digressed into boy band.
Which
How did we
somehow
get
ended
here?
up in your favorite topic, boy bands.
There, yeah.
Uh, so I was
Okay,
thinking,
I'm in good company. Jenny McCarthy loves boy bands.
yeah, she's a hoot. That show that she's on right now is it's just so cute and adorable. The
Mass singer.
Masked Singer. Yeah, you got
hmm
me watching that. You and my sister.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's useless and dumb and fun. Like it
it
really
is a
is. There's so much
frickin'
crap.
party. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's a good time.
Every week.
hmm
it's
Hmm.
it's it's a little much. It's a little fakey. Like they're acting. They're
Uh-huh.
just it's just a little much sometimes.
Do you think they know?
I tend to fast forward through certain scenes.
Do you think they know?
Think they know that they're being fake?
No, do you think they do you think they know who the singers are?
Oh, I think that they're fed information. Like they're not that good of there's no way they know everybody in the entertainment business and they're like, I think this perhaps could be, I just I I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's just no.
But it's fun.
I think they're fed certain ideas and clues, but not I don't think they know exactly who it is and they
Right.
pretend to guess. I don't think that.
Right. But they give them clues so that
They
they
do.
kind of know, they might know if they thought about it, type of thing.
And we're not giving, Robin Thicke
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
I forget the new girl's name who's this
Rita
year,
Ora.
right? So those guys are in the music business, so it's like
Hmm.
voice recognition.
Yeah.
It's like Hell's
Hmm.
Kitchen when Gordon Ramsay does the hidden taste test. Like you would
Yes.
think a chef would know what a banana tastes like. And they're like,
Yes.
zucchini? So embarrassing.
I
So
mean,
embarrassing to be on television, on a major television show, and like get called out for not having a good palate.
true, true,
Yeah.
but your eyes are part of that deal. But
Fair.
I think sometimes I don't I mean, I don't think they're told who it is, but I think like if they have no clue, they're
Yeah.
given certain clues. If that makes sense.
I
But there's been
agree.
many
Yeah.
times Robin
I
has
think
said
that's what I
something. He's like,
said.
I know
Isn't that
that
what I
voice.
said?
Yeah, yeah, I was just repeating and agreeing with you.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh
Let's
no, here we go. He's writing it down.
506. You didn't say it. You said the word agreement. But
I
go
said I
say
was
those
agreeing
magic
with you.
words that men love to
Oh,
hear.
oh, you're right.
What? Hold
You're
on. You
right.
said that so fast. I
I
don't
just
think our
figured with
listeners
those.
heard.
No, they are. The women can hear fast
I'm
speech. It's
hilarious.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we seem to be ending on a nice we began on a cheerful note of
Yeah.
our silly little introduction. And now, we've dealt with some talking about some heavy stuff with trauma.
Yeah.
Gave you
Yeah.
some options and
Mhm.
um I would like to think that you would agree that hypnotherapy would be the modality of choice to release some of these trapped traumas. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I would go, I would actually put hypnotherapy above CBT, regular traditional therapy
right.
for anxiety.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely would. That doesn't mean it's going to be one and done, like it's one time you're going to go see somebody.
No, that
That's
isn't
not,
so. Yeah,
that's a,
interesting you say that.
that's false information when it comes to long-standing patterns, when it comes to really traumatic events, because think of it as like how glass shatters. That's kind of what happens when you have an event that's traumatic. The
Right.
impact happens and then it just spider webs out into everything in your
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
and in your mind. So
Right.
to think that it's one and done is naive at best.
And I actually have people ask me that like during consultations, like, so how
Same.
many sessions do you think? And I'm like, well, okay, this is a consultation. We're just talking about the potential for what we can do together. I won't know until we get into our first session and really get into the weeds of what's going on.
Well, how long did it take for you to get the problem and how long have you had the problem? It's going to be far more than what time you're going to spend with me.
Yeah.
I mean, do you walk into a CBT therapist and go, how long am I going to be here for?
Okay, but so what's interesting about this is the other side of the coin when it comes to people and their opinion of hypnosis. It's the whack-a-noodle, bark like a dog, cluck like a chicken, make you act like a teenage girl when you're a 250 pound man who's burly, right?
If
Like
you
this
assemble.
stage version, if you will.
Mhm.
And on the other side of it is like, well, wait, isn't it magic? Like one session should just she had this had this potential client ask
I
me,
say it was a magic show. It's got the word freaking therapy in it. Like,
yeah. She's like, can't we just do one for everything?
no. I mean, no. You can't. No.
I can
No.
do something to help you in the first session with your stress and anxiety, but like you've got years of that pattern that you're relying on,
Oh,
trusting that's there to
that's an
protect you.
it's an interesting question. Have you ever had anything where it was just one session and you were shocked about it? Like you as the therapist, have you
Uh-huh.
ever done like a session and you thought maybe it was going to be more and they were like, "No, no, I'm good. I figured it out. It's
Ah,
perfect."
I mean, I've definitely had some monumental first sessions, but I really believe in the power of three,
Mhm.
um, because
Agreed.
even though there's this powerful ability to release that
Hmm.
which is maybe top of mind that you come to me for, like there's some
Hmm.
other contributing factors that we should still work on, like
Hmm.
so you
Hmm.
can have ultimate release.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. Um, I think that, yeah, I agree.
She agrees, and I was right today. Wow, that's a twofer.
It's spring.
I hope
I'll
everybody
be nice.
knows I poke fun at my dear award-winning friend.
It's spring. I'll
uh,
be nice.
what do you think about just doing a little relaxation for the listeners that have stuck with us this long? What do you think about that?
You gonna do it?
I was thinking just a little one, just a little short kind of
Okay.
visualization, a little progressive relaxation that just to help maybe put
Okay.
this all into a nice little safe space. So disclaimer, if you're operating any heavy machinery, please pause and come back to this when you can sit on the couch or maybe even
Mhm.
in your car before you drive. If you're listening to this while you're in
In
traffic,
traffic.
this is not the time. Do not come along for the ride. I'm not going to do some deep induction that you're going to, escape. I'm just going to help you just kind of relax for a moment.
Okay.
All right. So
Let's do it.
if you're driving or operating heavy machinery, please listen to this later. All right. So, I would invite you all to just adjust the way that you're seated right now. I would suggest that maybe we uncross our legs and arms, put our feet flat on the floor, and then just decide to take a moment together. And you can just close your eyes, nice and gentle, if you feel safe to do so. Just allow yourself to just breathe and be in the moment. Nice big cleansing breaths in through the nose, holding for a moment or two, and exhaling softly through your mouth like you're blowing air through a straw. Just take a few of those breaths and just invite yourself to go inside. Give yourself permission to go within just for a few moments here. And with each breath, maybe using your imagination, you can visualize, imagine, or picture a soft golden light shining above you that begins to cascade down over you and kind of wraps around you, creating kind of a force field. Just feels warm, gentle, familiar. Just knowing that this soft light is there to comfort you, this wonderful energy. And it quietly whispers, "You are safe now. You've made it through. You don't have to carry the heaviness anymore." Now imagine stepping into that warm light and letting it move in and through to your heart. You can feel it cascading like a warm, gentle flow of water down over the crown of your head, down the neck, sides and the cheeks, into your shoulders and neck, down your back, down through the chest, into the belly, down into the hips, around the thighs, the knees, the shins, all the way down to the ankles and the bottom of your feet. And you can just feel any negative energy just pulling out and grounding out to the earth beneath your feet. And just letting go and releasing any tension, releasing any fear in the moment, and releasing the past. And in its place, you have peace and calm and a deeper knowing that you are whole, perfectly made. And we can anchor in this wonderful feeling with taking one of those big, deep breaths in, bringing this light down inside of you, and you can bring this wonderful feeling of calm into your day, into your week, into your life. You are healing. Your subconscious is speaking, always with love. Now, if you want to anchor this in, you can create a physical anchor with your index finger, middle finger, and thumb on your left hand. You can press that lightly together, creating a bridge between the conscious outer awakened body, which is that anchor, that physical anchor of your index finger, middle finger, and thumb, with this deep subconscious, calm, and peaceful feeling, anchoring it in. Together, the conscious and the subconscious conspiring on your behalf. You are loved. You are safe. You are protected. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to count you back up from 0 to 5. At 5, you'll return back to a fully awakened state. You'll feel alert, alive, inspired, full of joy and recognition that I am healing. I'm a positive force for good. 1, starting to come up and out now. 2, one of those big deep breaths. 3, wiggling our fingers and toes as we find ourselves coming back into the room, wherever you are. At 4, and our eyes gently begin to open. And now back to 5, eyes are open, back to a fully awakened state. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, wide awake. There you go. Our gift
That's
to you.
amazing.
Just something
Good
short and
job.
sweet.
Yeah, it's nice. That's
Something
good.
that's, yeah, feels
Hmm.
good. That's the
Yeah,
cool thing
that's
about like all this imagery that we do. I'm assuming you have the
mhm,
same experience. So like I'm experiencing it energetically. I'm having an exchange, which
mhm.
I believe is Reiki, even though I don't have the certification, I have the skill.
Reiki's wonderful.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's, even if it's just that 5, 10 minutes,
that's it.
take the time, 10 minutes.
You're worth it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Slow
Take the time.
down, take time, go inside. It's
Mhm.
gonna be all right.
Mhm. And listen to, your subconscious because it speaks.
The question is,
Are you listening?
excellent. Thanks, Tina. I feel like I gotta play us out. Hang on. Where it's gone.
Oh no, it's not. I can
I
talk until
close
you
no,
hit
it's never
play.
gone.
Right. It's just, so if you've got that 10 minutes, go for it. Spend the time, give yourself a break. Subconscious speak. Question is, are you listening?
Ah,
Maybe
all
we'll get
right.
lucky to have Joe Cabanella on here one day. There you go. Absolutely.
All right. That's enough for today. Bye, everybody.
Have a good day.